Okay, I'm going to open my camera app and I'm going to go into portrait mode and I'm going to get my daughter to come closer, come away from the wall, come over here, then come this way.
I'm sorry, I just had
Come
a
right
shower.
towards me.
My
Okay,
hair is a mess.
okay,
I just had a shower.
okay. Turn your body and look at the fence. Okay, cross your arms for me. And it's going to look a little bit strange, but just lean forward a little bit. There we go. Okay, and bring your head back up. Okay. Drop your arms down. There we go. Okay, 1, 2. Turn a little more, look a little more to the front of the fence. There it is. Stop. Okay, and smile. How about a mouth closed smile? Big smile. There it is. Hold that. Perfect. Good job. You did a really good job.
Whenever I smile, I'm used to like people saying, use your teeth.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so now that we've got our photo from outside, what we need to do is click on our Snapseed icon, tap anywhere to open a photo, open that up, and we're going to grab this photo right here. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we need to turn this into a black and white. So I'm going to click on Tools, Black and White, and we're going to select Color Filter, and we're going to click through these. Oh, red is really good for the jacket. So I think that might be where we're going to start. So I'll click on red, and I'll click the check mark. And now I'm going to go to Tools, and there's one called Selective right there, top right. Click on that and tap once on the face, and you'll see the letter B come up. That stands for brightness. We can move left and right on the screen, and you'll see that it's darkening and lightening more than just your face. We'll deal with that in just a moment. Let's darken the face down a bit. There we go. Now, 2 fingers on your screen, pinch in, and you can see the red ruby lift. That is saying these are the areas that are being affected. So I'm going to grab the blue, or the little button, and I'm going to just move it to her ear. There we go. So we're selecting just her face. I'll click the Add button at the bottom, and I'm going to add another one near her chin. Same thing. Darken it down. 2 fingers on the screen. Pull in. There we go. And then we could brighten or darken. So we're just going to darken that down a bit. Same with the other one. We'll just darken it down a little more. And, pardon me. Let's add one more, and we'll do that near the nose. Right there. And somewhere else on the screen, I'm going to move left, and you can see it's darkening way too much. 2 fingers on the screen now. Pinch in significantly. Might have to move that over just a little more. There we go. I think that's really good. So here's one other trick. Is somewhere on the screen, other than over top of the button, if you press, I think I did too much on our brightness. I'll have to brighten that up just a little bit. That doesn't look good at all. If you just hold and move up or down, you can select contrast, saturation, or structure. And I think I'm good with what we've got right here. I'm just going to hit the plus key, or the check mark key. I'm actually going to go back into selective, and now I'm going to get rid of my background. I'm just going to click a spot, and I'm going to increase the brightness. What's nice about this is that it's got kind of a built-in mask, so we could check that mask, shorten that down so that we're not selecting too much, increase the brightness. Now, one thing, I don't know if I can copy and paste it. No. Oh, I guess I can. Paste. Excellent. And we'll just do that, and we'll paste another one down here. Paste. I know that there's a limit on the number of these that you could put. So you can see I'm just clicking around. Paste. Click another spot. Paste. I found the limit the other day. I think it was 10, but paste. On the bottom here, I'm not too concerned with that one. Okay, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the number. So how do you continue on if you've reached the limit? Well, so I hit the check mark. I'm going to go back into Tools, hit Selective, do it again. And it should, there we go, there's B. Increase the brightness. We'll just hover over, go copy, just down here, paste. Let's do another one right here. Paste. Can't really get rid of the bottom part. That's okay. We'll deal with that in a moment. Hit the check mark. That looks really good. Then we'll go to the tools and we will go to crop. And you could choose the different types of crops that are there. I'm just going to go with free, which is the one on the left. Free means, and I click once to get rid of the menu on the bottom, and I just start moving things around. Now I'm going to show you one other trick that I learned the other day. So we want to get rid of everything that's around. So that looks pretty good. I'll hit the check mark. Go back to tools, and there's one here called expand. It's on the top right. And we're going to expand with white. So we'll leave the bottom where it is. We'll extend that side, extend this side. Let's extend that just a little bit. I'm going to go kind of square with this. Check mark. Maybe I should do that right now. I should go back to tools, crop, and we're going to say square. And you'll see why in just a bit, but we'll go square, give a little bit of headroom right there, because I'm making 3 of these like you will be. So now, this is where it gets kind of cool. We've created a fairly good image. Now we go export, save a copy. So the save a copy is a big deal. We'll come back to that in a minute, but we need to do save a copy right now. So now we're going to go back to tools. We're going to use the curves adjustment brush, and this one's weird. We're going to grab that top right one, drag it all the way down. Now there's a little one here in the middle. Just drag it right out. So let's try this again. And that drags all the way down. And click the check mark. So it's all black. And you're like, oh, that doesn't help. You're right. Go to the very top and you're going to see the little palette of images like layers. It's the icon right here. And click View Edits. When this comes up, where it says curves at the top, just click on it and you're going to see 3 buttons: the delete, the mask, and the adjust. We're going to go to the adjust. This is the mask. This is masking. So right now, nothing is showing. So at the bottom, you can see where it says decrease, 100% curves, and increase. If I go decrease, that means erase. If I go increase, that means 25% of the blending goes in. You can see it's darkening. Here's 50%, and here's 75, and here's 100. So we're going to go to 100, and we're going to try and do a rough guide all the way through without touching the outside. And you can switch between your left finger and your right finger. Then pinch out. Pardon me, pinch out. The brush doesn't change size, but since your screen does, you can actually get more selective. So we can get fairly close to the edges without damaging the white that is on the outside of the clothing. If you happen to touch an edge, oops, like that, don't panic. It's just an edge. We'll come back to that in just a moment. So you can show the mask to show where you've been where you're working. That's that little eyeball icon at the bottom. So if we happen to make a mistake, I'll zoom in here quite significantly so that my mistake is small. And with these, they don't have to be perfect, but they have to be decent. And I just zoomed in on that just so that we can see that we can get pretty close to the eye. And because we're working on a mobile device, if you're comfortable like doing inside curves or outside curves, you can always rotate your iPad or your mobile device so that it best fits how you like to move your hand on a curve. I know that with drawing, I prefer that the curve goes towards the top right. So I'm always careful of that. So I hit the decrease here to 0, and I'll just clean that up where I screwed up. Clean that up where I screwed up. Go back to 100%, zoom in so that I'm really tight on this edge. This might not seem like the most exciting part of the work, but to build a good image, you have to have a good foundation. And this is your foundation. So here's our mask. We'll turn that off and on, and you can see that the edges are pretty empty. I kind of went over it one more time and said, okay, it doesn't really matter. This will give me some clarity on the edges. Click the checkbox. Now that we're in here, we're at that stage where we want to introduce our overlay image, our double exposure. So we click back with the arrow at the top and click on Tools, and you'll see at the bottom it says double exposure. Click on that. And I'm going to click on Open Image. And you'll see in here, here's a picture that my daughter took. And now we have to say Style, and we have to choose. Here's Default, here's Lighten, Darken, Add, Subtract, and Overlay. So I'm going to go back to Lighten and Add. I like Lighten because you can see it gives a little more detail on the edges. Now here's the cool thing, 2 fingers, pinch out, rotate. You can move your image. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Click the checkbox. And here's the last piece that I like to do is on the Tools menu, click Double Exposure again. Remember that black and white image? Click on Open Image, that black and white image that we saved earlier, this one right here. If we bring that one back in, click on Style, here's Default, Lighten, Darken, Add, Subtract. So we'll go to Lighten, and Transparency, we'll bring that all the way down, and now we'll bring that up just a little bit. So we can bring her face back in. Click checkbox. Now, I'm not so sure if I've lined up my first double exposure correctly. So I'm just going to click on this and say Edit and find a better spot for this one. There we go. Kind of let's fill the face in with a little more of the branches. There, I like that. Checkbox. And now we can click on the top double exposure again, reactivate that. So then we go back, and at this point we say Export. Now this is important. You'll see 2 things. Save a copy, and read what it says. Creates a copy with changes you can undo. So it brings all of those layers back in, or Export. Create a copy with permanent changes. Oh, I forgot one thing. Just before we finish, so click back out of that, go to Tools, and you're going to find one that says Frames. Find a frame that you really like. I think that's good. Number 7. I think 7 is really good for me. I like 7. Ooh, I like that one too. The problem is if I make 3 of these and they have all the same number, it's going to look really funny. So I'm going to pick 3 actually. This will be my first one. So 21, 22, and 23 will be the ones that I choose to use. Okay, so I picked 21 and click the checkbox. Click the Export, and we're going to say Export with permanent changes. So now that we've done that, we are done with our first image, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So now we're going to do this 2 more times. So we click Open Image. Oh, it says cancel. Let me just go Export. I'm going to save a copy just in case I have to come back in here. Open Image. So I'll show you one that I built for fun. Here's my wife in a teacup. Let's open another one. Yeah, she's in a teacup. Okay, so now that we have all 3 of our images made, we actually have to put them together in a triptych. So we're going to use this app called BeFunky, but we're not actually using the app, we're using the web-based interface. If we use the app, I found that it has less options for us, and the option that we really want is a 3-panel that goes straight across, that's square, and the app doesn't even have that. So go to befunky.com, click on Get Started, and find the square here, create a collage, click on that one. And now in clicking on this one, we're going to click on the image manager and we're going to go computer, photo library, and we're going to go and grab the 3 images. There's the first one, there's the second one, there's the third one, and click done. Now they're going to get loaded into this sidecar area. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the third option down on the left, and that looks like this, the layouts. And we're going to click on grid. And we're going to pick the grid that has 3 panels that are square and are horizontal. Then we're going to go back to our images, and we are going to grab our image, drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. Once our images are sitting in there, what we can do is click on the adjust button, and here's the spacing. Now the problem with spacing is if we go small, we lose the top and the bottom of the frame that we created. So if we leave it relatively large, we keep all of our frames. Don't round the corners because again, you're going to lose those edges. Now here's the trick. At the top there, you can see the button save. So click on save and click computer. So once we're here, make sure it stays on JPEG. You could change the name right here if you like. And we'll go here to double exposure triptych. And leave it on JPEG, leave it on high quality, click on save. Now this is where it gives you a choice, to view or to download. Click on view. Now it opens it up in a web browser. I hold down and click and I go add to photos. So now if I go to my photos, it is sitting there, right there. So here's my images that I used for my triptych and my double exposures, and there's the triptych. So from here, I'm able to successfully upload that into Google Classroom. If you have any questions, you know where I am, and I hope you have the best time creating this very cool assignment.